Chelsea won, Benfica 0, and man, it was good to get a win under the belt, but oh mate, this situation with the cards is starting to be a bit of a headache, isn't it? Welcome, Blue Believers, to another episode of the Stamford Sync, where we are syncing up with everything Chelsea FC. And I am delighted to be able to talk about a win today. It was a hard-fought win that was always going to be a bit emotional. Jose Mourinho's return to Stamford Bridge was, it was always going to be what it was going to be. But the game was not as hard as I maybe thought it was going to be, although, we'll kind of get into it. But at the end of the day, that's a win under the belt, and finally, a little touch of momentum going into the Liverpool game. So we'll start with the lineup. The lineup was a bit of a surprise, truth be told. I was actually a bit surprised by the lineup. It felt like a bit risky, but at the same time, it played out pretty well. So Rob Sanchez in goal, absolutely expected. Malo Gusto right back, absolutely expected. Marco Correa left back, absolutely expected. Centre back pairing of Benoit Badiashile and Trevor Chalobah, absolutely expected. All of that was in my predicted lineup. So yay, I got some things right. Double pivot, Moises Caicedo and Enzo Fernandez. And I was surprised because Buonanotte actually got the start. Okay, fair enough. So he's being seen as a bit more of an option as initially maybe we thought he would be. Garnacho also got a start on the left, which was a surprise, but a very pleasant one. Neto started on the right, which was expected, and Tyreek George started up front, which was a bit of a sigh. So, out of the gates, things looked good. We looked dominant. Having 11 players on the pitch really suits us. In particular, for me, in this game, Garnacho was brilliant, man. Garnacho, the goal itself was an own goal forced by Garnacho, but he just looked really, really bright. He was attacking. He was tearing him up down that left side, man. Really, really good. And it's the kind of thing that I was hoping that we were going to see. If Garnacho carries on this way, then he'll start to get goals, and he looked wicked today, man. Really, really good. Personally, my man of the match was Garnacho. Really enjoyed watching him play today. Buonanotte was about as good as he has been. Buonanotte is obviously not Cole Palmer, but he's definitely got more about him than maybe initially we thought he did when we brought him in on loan. He connects play together pretty well. He's, he drops deep, he drives forward. He's kind of like a budget Cole Palmer, really, without all of the fancy goals and spectacular moments. But at the same time, I'm not unhappy to see him on the pitch. Neto was brilliant today as well. Absolutely got to give Neto his flowers. Absolute workhorse, running up and down. And the cross that completely opened up their entire team in order to put Garnacho on to force that own goal was stunning. Neto really, really good today. Tyreek George, man. Oh, I don't know. So I did a watch along with Behind the Dugouts, my good friend Behind the Dugouts. We had a really good time. We did a watch. I joined him for his watch along on his channel. And I said a few times, man, watching Tyreek George is just like playing with 10 men. And we've gotten some experience of playing with 10 men now, so that kind of makes sense. But it must be tactical manager instruction, I guess. But he just doesn't really do anything up front, man. It's like, I don't understand how we've got Mark Yu on the bench. Like, explain this to me in the comments, guys. If you know the reason that we keep putting Tyreek George on, but we brought an actual striker in Mark Yu, who scored goals for us last season, we brought him back from his loan on Sunderland to not play him, and we keep playing Tyreek George there, when Enzo Maresca himself says he's not a striker, he's a winger. So I don't really understand that, and it's tough, man. It is tough watching Tyreek George, do basically nothing for the majority of the game. It's really, really difficult. So yeah, man, it was the first half was pretty open for us. Do you know what I mean? We were dominant. We had a lot of possession, and they were definitely struggling to get into the game. We go into half-time, 1-0 up, wicked. We come out again with the exact same lineup. Personally, a bit disappointed Tyreek George hasn't been changed by this point, but I understand it because we were winning and, it's not like, we desperately needed the goal at that point or whatever. It would have been nice to get a second because the end of the game got a little bit scary and a bit testy and stuff, but at the same time, it is what it is, and we won the game, so I'll take that. But Benfica did come to life a bit in the second half, especially when they started making their subs. We also made some subs. Reece James got some game time. João Pedro came on. I'll get into his malarkey in a minute. Jamie Gittins got some minutes as well, and Achiampong came on for Benoit Badiashile. Benoit Badiashile, by the way, played really well for the whole game. 96% passing accuracy with 93 passes. He played the Pasi Maguba role, the Levi Colwill role, and he did it really, really, really well. And I'm not going to lie to you, if he keeps this up, he might even bench Tosin Adarabioyo when he comes back, because he played that role really well today. He kept finding Garnacho out on the left with those passes, man. It was so good. And yeah, he had a pretty good game. He kept his head. No WWE moments or wrestling moves from anyone. towards anyone. Sorry, Badiashile did a good job today. Trevor Chalobah too, playing more the role that he's used to, with having someone else to take that passing role away from him, definitely. But yeah, the João Pedro looked bright a little bit again. Looked like we might, start to see a bit of the old João Pedro, but things got away from him right at the end of the game. So it was like João Pedro, like this is literally, so there was 6 minutes of extra time. We were feeling a lot of pressure in the last 10 minutes of the game as well. It was definitely like, okay, we're going to try and just hang on to the goal. We started dropping back. Benfica took advantage, started pushing forward. We had an opportunity, and just as the ball got away, it went towards one of Benfica's players, and João Pedro got a pretty high leg up. Now, I didn't see if there was contact. This is, in all honesty, I did not see if there was contact. He'd already had a yellow card as well, which I completely missed, and was given a second yellow, which makes our third red card in 3 games. Now, it was literally basically the last thing that happened in the game. Like, it was in the 96th minute that he got sent off, and the game ended in and around the 97th minute. But really strange, man. I feel kind of conflicted about it as well. I don't feel as annoyed, obviously, as I did with the Robert Sanchez one or the Trevor Chalobah one, because it was right at the end of the game. It means he's going to miss the next Champions League match, which is against Ajax. So there's a good few games in between now and then. Maybe another option presents itself. Maybe Tyreek George ends up getting the start. I don't know. It is annoying. But yeah, I guess I just don't feel as bad about it because it was at the end of the game, and the Ajax game is so far away that it doesn't feel really like, because obviously it's after the international break, so we're looking at like nearly a month, or if not a month, until the Ajax game. So it feels a bit like, oh, okay, well, we'll just kind of deal with that in a bit. Ultimately, the truth is 3 red cards in 3 games is not freak accidents anymore. There's something systemic going on. I guess. Do you know what I mean? I'm not 100% sure. And I'm not talking about refs. I'm talking about within the team. For us to have gotten 3 red cards in 3 games at 3 different points as well. Robert Sanchez was literally 5 minutes into the United game. Trevor Chalobah was in the first 5 minutes of the second half of the last game. And João Pedro was right at the end of this game. But 3 red cards in 3 games is crazy, man. Absolutely crazy. So we didn't finish the game with 11 men. We finished the game with 10 men. But like I say, it was literally like less than a minute to play by the time it happened. So, I guess we'll deal with the situation of the Ajax game in the Champions League when it comes to it. And maybe Tyreek George and maybe Mark Hughes managed to get some minutes in and around then. I'm not really sure what's going to happen. But yeah, it's annoying, man. It's annoying. But either way, it actually doesn't dampen the win for me, if I'm completely honest. If this hadn't have been a win, if this had been a draw or a loss and we'd have had this card, it'd have been a really difficult pill to swallow. But things don't actually seem that bad. So, man, like I said, good to see Mourinho back at the bridge. One thing I did think was quite funny was just before half-time, just before the whistle went, he stormed down that tunnel, man. He stormed down that tunnel, and I was like, oh, mate, those players are going to get it in the neck from Mourinho. This is their first loss under Mourinho as well, actually. They've had 4 games under him now, and their first 3 games was 2 wins and a draw. But he didn't look absolutely screwing either. Like, apart from the moment where he went down the tunnel, for the rest of the game, he seemed like, not so he wasn't like kicking off and making a spectacle of himself or anything. He actually kind of kept his cool. Maybe he's going soft in his old age. Who knows? But like I say, man, either way, it was great to see Mourinho back at the bridge. And I really enjoyed making that video, my match preview video, where I had a load of clips from him and stuff. It's, obviously the game's been and gone now, but just go and check that video out for the first couple of minutes, because it's just a good time. It's just a good nostalgic Mourinho time. So yeah, that's it, man. It was, there's not a huge amount more to say, really. We played well in general. Really, really happy with Garnacho. Really, really happy with Buonanotte, actually. Just because he looks like a valid option now, and it's not so like, oh no, Buonanotte's on. Like, for instance, like I said, man, when Tyreek George is up in the striker, I'm like, oh, this is well annoying. But Buonanotte, I'm starting to be like, oh, okay, Buonanotte is playing. That's cool. Liverpool is up next, and Liverpool are on a rocky run of form, which might actually benefit us a tiny bit. We've got to look for anything we can, because they're the Premier League champions, and they've been on really hot form this season so far. But they lost against Crystal Palace, and they lost against Galatasaray tonight as well. Therefore, one of 2 things is going to happen, isn't it? Either they're in a bad spell that we can take advantage of, or they're going to use us to kickstart their run of form again, because that's what always happens. But at the end of the day, Either way, I wasn't really expecting a win in the Liverpool game. Do you know what I mean? So, you know, for instance, also, it's not great news for them, but Alisson is now going to be out for the Chelsea game as well. So they'll be without their first choice keeper, which means Mamardashvili, I think his name is, will probably play. And if he isn't 100% knowledged up on the system and got many minutes yet, maybe that could work in our favour as well. Ultimately, we are at that point where we're going in as underdogs, and if Liverpool have been on a bad run of form and they're going to be without their first choice keeper, then maybe these are things that we can take advantage of. Who knows? Who knows? I'm not going to keep my hopes up. I will be happy for us to put a good showing in that game, truth be told, based on where we are. But I do think after the international break, we get a lot of our players back, and I think things will be able to start looking good again. So, guys, tell me what you thought about the game in the comments. Tell me what you thought about seeing Jose Mourinho back at the Bridge. And I don't even think I said it. Let's do it here towards the end of the video. Guys, if you're enjoying the content and you would like to see more, please do me the distinct honour of liking and sharing the video, subscribe to the channel, or just roast me in the comments, whatever gets you through your day. Next up, Liverpool. Nice one, guys. I hope you all had a wicked day, because I certainly did. I'll see you all very soon. Take it easy. Peace.